Hey guys, welcome to another video, and today I'm actually bringing you my first race, or first few races on iRacing. I bought this game recently and I've just been playing for a little bit, but this is actually my first race online against people. I had a practice lap on, and it was a different car. I think it was the Kia, just to have a go and see how it felt. It actually feels pretty good. It's a little bit different to Aceto. It's hard to describe, but it just feels different. Feels pretty realistic, which is really nice. I really enjoy it. And so the way this game works is it's all online, and you play. You have like races set up at certain times. There are popular races that come around every so often, and this one is the MX5 race on Okayama. The maps kind of rotate I think it's once a week. I haven't really been able to figure out how frequently they change, but and if there's a roster, I should probably look that up. It's probably like a roster somewhere of the tracks that come up. But yeah. So just coming up here. So I was actually speaking to my brother while playing this, and he said I could take this corner full throttle, and I did it without kind of thinking, and that caused me to spin out. And actually, this was the first lap of qualifying. So in this game, you have a practice session which kind of runs all the time. It's like they'll expire every so often, but there's essentially a practice session running all the time. And when you register for a race, you can join these practice sessions and just drive as much as you want. And the normal sessions start as I come into this corner way too fast and I fly off. So basically, that's my qualifying session done. Well, it was actually my first time, so I figured I could just go out and try and qualify again, but not realizing you can't do that because I've already started my second lap, so I was kind of done, and so I didn't qualify at all. Yeah, so you have practice sessions running all the time, so you can do this whenever, and then so when the time starts, you get I think it's 5 minutes of practice, which really only gets you like a lap in, because by the time you've connected and started, you only really get a lap around the track. And then after that, there's 8 minutes of qualifying, which gives you time for doing 2 laps. So you get your out lap, and then you get 2 qualifying laps, and in the 8 minutes you have all the time you want to do it. So usually I just take a bit of time just to warm up my tyres on the first lap, because cold tyres are a really big problem, as you'll see in this video. I really didn't understand that. So you get 2 laps of qualifying, and as you saw in that, I spun out on my first qualifying lap, and then my second one I crashed into the wall, so that was it. I didn't qualify, so I started a bit at the back of the pack. And so starting up now, for my very first race, that guy in front of me shot a little bit too early, and I didn't actually understand what was going on, so I'd never started before, so I started neutral not knowing, and then quickly panicked trying to start up, so I basically almost got to the back of the pack off the start line. As I come to the first corner, those guys were sort of battling out. The guy directly in front of me just loses it, too much throttle. And yeah, so coming to turn 2, I come around here, there's a lot going on front, and I didn't see this guy on the left, and then as I come across, I just go straight into him. He actually turned his wheel. I looked back at it, he turned his wheel as he was coming across, so I really don't know. So that kind of really annoyed me. In my first ever race, in the second corner, I basically was out of contention for actually having a chance. So I just tried to limp my way across to the pits so I could get it repaired. You actually get one free repair, which is like a sped up repair of your car, just so that you can get back into the race if you want. Usually repairs take a really long time. As I come down the street, my engine blows, so I wasn't able to make it back to the pits. So you can actually, what's cool about this game is you can have a tow truck come and collect your car, but that does take a lot of time. So I had 2 minutes waiting for my car to come back to the pits. So at this point, I was kind of done with the race. I didn't have a chance of really having a run into the top of the session. And so as I come out of the pits, I was just trying to wait for these guys to go through because I don't really want to screw up anyone's race. And so I come around the corner, and again, there's stuff as I nearly avoid that crash. There's stuff going on in front of me. So I was just going along. This guy next to me, he was a lap ahead, but he was driving really poorly. So I just overtook him. And right at this moment, I knew the concept of blue flags, but I didn't really follow it because I was just driving. Didn't really mind too much, but as I've driven more, I've gotten more cautious of who's around me and what position they are. As you can see on my screen, the bottom right, I've just got the lap timing set up, but you can switch it so that it can show you your relative position and who's in front of you, who's behind you, so you can make a judgment on who's actually, like if you just let someone through, or whether you can just go for a battle. So as you can see in the bottom right as well, I'm position 10th, so was just trying to get through the race and do as well as I could. But as I come around that corner, I had a bit too much throttle and I lost the back end a little bit, and then lost it completely and went straight into that wall. So at this point, this was pretty much the end of my race. I get 2 minutes of towing after that, but after you tow, it's about a 30-20 minute repair just for that. So as I said earlier, you get that speed repair as your first one, which is really nice, but if you crash again, that's basically the end of your race. And yeah, that was kind of it for me. So yeah, second race coming in here, I'm on Laguna Seca. This was actually like a few days after the other race, just because I had a couple races after it, but they all didn't go too well. So yeah, I qualified in third position, which is really good for me. And I kind of learned, as you saw there, I learned not to rev, because the worst thing is that these cars wheel spin quite a lot, and a lot of people don't realize, and they just put down the throttle and they spin out, and you lose a lot of time wheel spinning on the start line. So the best tactic is to just kind of ease onto the throttle a little bit, and then once it goes green, use full throttle, and there's no wheel spin at all. You just take off pretty quickly. And so I come out of the first corner in second, or basically off the line in second. And I'm not sure if this is turn 3 or turn 4 coming up, but this turn is like the worst thing that's ever happened to me, because as you see there, I took it a little bit too quickly. I lost the back end and I just spun out, which I don't know if that guy took the F for me, but yeah, that's kind of how I felt. I was just second place, and you lose on the third or fourth corner. It's really disheartening. And so I was gonna limp it back to the pits, but I was just like, oh, whatever, I'll just tow it, which also actually is a lot slower than actually just driving back. So I probably should have just driven back, but anyway, yeah. So I come out of the pits, I'm back down 10th. Everyone, as you see on the right, everyone around me is red, which means they're a lap ahead. So at this point, I just want to finish the race. And as I'm coming up here, I lost it there as well. I still had kind of cold tyres from pitting. They do change the tyres. I don't know if they are completely fresh or not, because I've never really tested it, but I assume they're fresh. So I just had fresh tyres. Went that corner way too quick and just lost it. So it didn't really matter. I was last place anyway, so I just kept going. This guy in front of me, he was driving pretty sloppily. He kept like going too wide in corners, and he was all over the place. So I was trying to keep up with him. I wasn't going to overtake him unless he really messed up, because I didn't want to slow him down at all, trying to catch up to the guy in front of him, which is actually, the guy's 14 seconds ahead of him. So this guy really didn't have a shot of catching up, especially the way he was driving. So as you see there, he goes way too wide, so I just overtook him. Figured it was fine to do that. So I come down at the bottom corkscrew. That corner there is also one of the worst corners in this map, as I took that way too wide, went off into the dirt and then into the wall. So yet again, another early race crash, which I then ruined again later in the race. I figured I'd finish that race anyway, so I kept going. So coming to this race, I'm actually in second place after qualifying. So I did pretty well in this one, and I'd used my strategy to not rev at all, and actually ended up coming off the line first because that guy took way too. He slipped so hard on the line. So yeah, I came out of the off the start in first place, which I was. My heart was instantly pounding. I was like, "Fuck, man! I'm in first. I got to keep it." And I was stressing out only in the first few seconds of my race. So, which I guess will ease over time as you get used to it. But I come into this corner here. I was a bit nervous because after the last race, so I took it a bit too sharp, and then I went too wide and spun out, and I was just so upset. I just instantly quit that race. As you saw, it just cut off. I didn't have any more footage because I just insta quit. So coming to this race, I'm down in ninth. I think I had a pretty bad qualifying, and took off the line. As you see, everyone there wheel spins. I ended up coming up the inside of that guy and made quite a lot of spaces in this short amount of time. I actually get up into fourth, but the guy to the right of me goes really, really quickly around that corner, which is a really nice move from him. So I end up back down in fifth, and come into this corner. I go up the inside of this guy. He goes a bit wide. He gets off on the dirt, and then he comes back in. I feel like I could have given a bit more room, but he also just turned right into me and took me out, which really sucks. But good thing about that, I didn't have a lot of damage, so I didn't need to pit. So I just kept on going, and come down to that corner again. As that corner is the worst, and here I made a really big mistake here. I saw them come up really close, and I was like, shit, I need to get out of the way, because I knew that the leads were coming up, and I reversed, not thinking that I should have just gone forward, but I reversed back up, and then I stalled on in that spot, and ended up just being in the driving line. And that guy, he knew I was there because of the yellow flag, but I was just in a bad spot, so I kind of ruined that guy's race. Yeah, so that wasn't a good race either. That kind of ended my race. So coming to this race, I started in 8th, but as you see behind me, these guys are all collecting each other. It was a bit odd. So end up in 5th after that that launch. So I tried to get the guy up on the inside of me, but he defended it a bit, and I tried to get him here again, but wasn't going fast enough to do anything with that. So kept on going. And so come up to turn 3, which is the worst corner for me. As you see there, I just lost a little bit, but I did recover quite well. But then, as you see, the guy behind me came up and smashed into the back of me, so that was really annoying because I finally managed to not spin out in the corner, but I still get collected anyway. So I didn't have too much damage. It was all back end damage. There's a little bit of like fender damage on the front, but it wasn't too bad. It didn't affect handling that much. The back end started to get a bit loose, but honestly it wasn't too bad, so I just kept on going. I didn't actually end up pitting off that. So so coming down here, lap 2 at the final corner, I'm up in 7th, and these guys are battling in front of me, so I was kind of just hoping to catch them while they were fighting each other and just make a pass, but it almost looks like their teammates, to be honest, so they're the same colour. One thing I didn't realise for a while is that you can actually change your livery, and so I just ended up driving with this blue and red livery for a really long time until I figured that out. So I've changed it now. As I overtake the guy in 4th, I end up in 3rd. Sorry, the guy in 5th, 4th, I come up, overtake him, so now I'm in 4th behind this guy, and me and this guy had a few laps of battling each other. I was right up behind him the whole time trying to pass him, and it was actually really, really fun. It was fun driving with someone like that who was roughly around the same skill level as me, which I haven't had in this in the rookies for much at all since I've been driving. It's either everyone is really bad or there will be some guys that are really, really good, because you can come up against people that are in really high classes, like up in B and C class, which I feel like it's a bit weird that you can do that, but so it was quite fun to drive against this guy. So as you see here, I'm just slightly behind him now, so I've been catching up quite a lot, just right up behind him, trying to take any opportunity that he leaves open. And this corner here, he takes a little bit wide and loses it, so I use that momentum that he loses to just slowly overtake him up that hill. That hill is just brutal. You can't gain barely any speed, so managed to overtake him. So it took quite a few laps, but eventually got there in the end, so I was quite happy with that. Up into third place, as I finally managed to figure out how to take that corner without spinning. It took me quite a few races to figure that corner out, which was quite good. So as I come up to this guy, as you see on the bottom right, his name is Blue, so that means he's a lap down on me. So he's not in the so he's a lap down, so he should be getting a blue flag just to let me pass. But some people don't really respect it. I mean, it's not really a big deal, honestly, unless you're kind of in first place trying to defend your position, which I kind of am. I'm just trying to make sure I get some distance between me and the guy behind me. So I come around the corner, he gives me a bit of room there, which is really nice of him, so end up going past him. So yeah, four laps to go. I come up to the infamous turn 3, and yeah, come around it, and what do you know, I lose the back end yet again. I really just I hate that corner, man. I was so upset because after all that time battling the guy, I just threw it away, taking the corner way too quickly. So as I come out of the pits, I needed to pit after that one because my steering was buggered. So coming out of the pits, I end up down in 6th. The guy that was ahead of me is still down in 3rd there, so there's only a couple laps to go. So really I was just trying to stay ahead of the guy in 7th, where he was 30 seconds behind me. So unless I really screwed up, there was no real chance of him actually catching. So I just wanted to make it past in one piece. And one thing I've kind of learnt now is that trying to drive fast isn't always the best choice. You kind of want to drive fast to gain experience, but also drive safely, because as you'll see a couple times when I crash, up the top center it'll say DQ something times 17, which means that when you get to 17 incident points you get disqualified, and the more incident points you get, the lower your safety rating. Like, it'll assess it at the end of the race and you get a lower safety rating, which is used to determine, as the guy took that corner too wide. He was actually in 1st, which really sucked, because he was 20 seconds ahead of the guy that was behind him, so he was for sure going to win, unless that obviously happened. So he lost a lot of track position. As you can see on the bottom right, his time, the relative position between me and him is opening quite a lot, and it ends up down to 3 seconds. And eventually he actually got overtaken. He just disconnected because I think he pitted, and that was the end of his race. And so at the end of the race, the guy that I was battling for 3rd position is actually in 1st, and he won. So it was a good job to him. But I realised that if I hadn't screwed up that turn 3, I really actually could have won the race. And I was just kicking myself after that. I was a bit upset, but whatever. I managed to finish a race, so that was all good. I wasn't too worried about that. So ended that race in 5th, which was a pretty good result. Would like to have better, but given everything that happened, it wasn't too bad. So I've just been slowly grinding through, and as I said before, safety rating's really important. The more incidents you get, I don't quite know how it assesses at the end of the race, but it'll determine how much your safety rating should change. And to get out of the rookie races, you need to have a safety rating above 3. I think that's when you can get your... I haven't looked too much into it, but you have to have a safety rating above 3 for it to get a license to Class D, which is ultimately what I'm trying to get to, because that means I can stop racing in these low races and I can race better cars, and it's something I'm looking forward to. So I'm just trying to slowly get there, and it's been tough because, man, everyone is just crashing a D-run in these races, and it's really hard to... You don't know, like, you could drive the safest you can, but someone might... As you saw in the first race, the guy just turned into me. I really had no chance unless I slowed down, which, I mean, yeah, hindsight, I could have done that, but I didn't really think it was a problem at the time. So yeah, I'm just trying to slowly going through all these races, and yeah, get my safety rating up, and eventually hopefully I can get out of class or the rookie class and into class D, race better cars, and yeah, just get better over time. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this game. It's really fun. It's good to play against people online. I mean, AI is fun and all, but real people there's a lot more variance in the races, and it's a lot more exciting to play. So hopefully I can over time build up my safety rating and get higher and higher and race faster cars and get into the better races. So, and hopefully pick up a win. I still haven't picked up a win yet. I'm making this like a week after this last recording, so I've played a lot more. I've been playing a lot of NASCAR as well, the oval races. There's a race with the I think it's a Dallara DW12 is the car, which is like an IndyCar, like a slower version of an IndyCar, but it's really fun. So I've been trying to do a mix of those races, and yeah, just get some, try and get a win eventually. I've gotten close. I've got second once, got a few thirds. I'm gonna get there eventually. I know it. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you want me to try anything else. I've just been grinding these games, so have a lot of content to bring you. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. I'll probably bring an oval race video next, just because I have a couple of clips on that, just to show you it's chaos. Honestly, trying to race in those on those tracks. Yeah, it's like there's the crashes are just like you've seen the crashes. These like people just spin off, but man, and oval races, they're just chaos. It's hilarious to watch, and it's really fun to race. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.